Hi everyone, it's Megan here. I got a request for a video about all the things you need, all the accessories you'll need to do a diamond painting from start to finish. So I thought I would do kind of this in kind of categories, or like as I go throughout the painting of the process, I'll kind of give you some pointers, and then if you don't have something, what you can use instead. So when you get your diamond painting, pretend like this one isn't halfway done. When you first get your diamond painting, it has this cover sheet over it, and you have the canvas. You have all your drills in a bag, and then you have a tool kit that comes with it. Now, if it's a square drill, that you're gonna get some cheap tweezers. And I actually don't use these, but they're just the straight pointy kind. So what I do use this for is to get the wax out of the tip of my pens. So I do have one of these. And then you get the wax, and it looks complete. It's not this depleted. This is one I've been using. You get a tray of some kind, and then you get a pen of some kind. Some of them have different tips on them. So you might you'll get a single one for sure, but on this end it might be a 3, a 6, or a 9 drill tip as well. Or it might just be empty like this. The Velcro isn't on there, I put that on there. So technically, you don't absolutely need anything else other than these tools to complete your diamond painting. Technically. Now, for it to be more fun and more, convenient, I guess, there are things that you can do to make it better. So let's go into that. The drills come in these really cheap baggies that are not reclosable. Once you tear them open, they're open, and they're very flimsy plastic. So the first thing I do is I organize first you do inventory, and then you organize the drills. If you have access to a copy machine or a printer with a copier capability, if you get an inventory sheet with your painting, I make a copy of that inventory sheet to reference, and then I also use a leftover binder that I have, and I put them in these what do you call them? Sheet protectors. So I can just, see them all here. The reason for that is because if you're doing this and you come across a symbol that got turned around or whatever, you can reference that page in here. And also, if you don't put the DMC codes on the jars, then you can just use this sheet to match up the DMC code with the label, but I'm getting ahead of myself with the DMC code. So let's talk about organizing drills first, I suppose. Okay, so on this sheet there's the symbols that you see on the canvas. There's the DMC code, which correlates to embroidery floss, like for cross stitching. And so each number is a different color. And then the good part about that is that if you get into this and you're serious about it and you're an avid diamond painter, you can save your extra drills and use them later on. So why would you need to use these extra drills, right? So you would need them if, say, I ran out of a 334 for whatever reason. I could check in my extra drills to see if I have any 334, because it takes forever for them to mail them to you, and then sometimes they won't even do that because the span of time has lapsed where they'll give you any sort of reimbursement or anything. So if you have extras, it's good to as backup. And I'll talk about how to store that later. So when I start to organize my drills, there's lots of different ways you can do that. You can put them in bags, and different strategies work for different people. So I'll tell you what I do, and I'll tell you what some other people I've seen do. But again, you need to figure that out for yourself because, you know, you're you. So I wonder if you'll be able to see it better on this. So I've got 2 sizes of bags. This is like a 2 by 2.5 and a 2.5 by 3, depending on how many extras I have. Sometimes if I'm filling up my containers and I have extra, I'll put the extras in a bag. I don't use the bags primarily for, you know, as I'm working. I don't do that because I feel like I'm very clumsy with them and I can spill them a lot. I prefer a solid container, and then to have access to all your colors at once is nice instead of having to thumb through all your baggies. So I prefer to use something like this with towers of jars like this that screw together. And then I've just put the code, the DMC code, right on there with the symbol. So I prefer something like this. You can also use these little containers as well. These come in a package. So if you just Google, like if you're shopping online in the US, we have Amazon, or you can do Consumer Crafts or Michael's or Joann's or whatever. You can just search bead, like BEAD, bead storage containers, and because that's what these actually are bead storage containers. And all of the containers I found are primarily bead storage. So you're going to want some sort of containment system so that you can have access to all your drills that you need. As you can see, you know, I can see them all at once. I can see all the symbols. It's easy to browse. I'll even sometimes stand them up in here as I'm working. And then, you know, whatever. And then they're nice and contained. I labeled the front with what kind of what painting it is. This is for my elephant, which looks like this. So you'll want some sort of storage system for that. Think about what works best for you. You also might want some quart or even larger storage size bags to contain, if you have multiple containers, to contain all that stuff. So here I have 3 different containers and 2 bags of extra. So I've used multiple types of containers in this one because I'm just a believer not to waste space. So, you know, if I don't have a lot of colors, I'm going to use like a lot of the colors, like 1 or 2 bags of them. I'm going to use these tiny ones, and then I can use these bigger ones for the more color, like the more bags I have and stuff like that. Okay, moving on. When you're putting your drills into bags, really, and I've done it in the containers as well, you're going to want to get some dryer sheets. And what the dryer sheets do is it cuts down on static. Another good thing to do is if you're wearing like a dress or a long tunic shirt and it keeps sticking to you, just take this and rub it all over underneath your shirt, like on your pants and stuff or on your legs, and it'll take the static away right away. So I just have these Bounce brand, but any brand would work. These are actually scented, Outdoor Fresh scented. But again, you can get whatever. If you're sensitive to smells and you need, you know, unscented, that's fine too. So we've got the kit, we've got dryer sheets, we've got some sort of containment system and baggies for extras, or to contain all the extra, you know, all your stuff together. All right. So, moving on. When you go to, so after you have all your drills set, you're going to want to actually label them. So, you're going to need a good pair of scissors to not only cut open the bags, but to like either cut the tape that you're using or whatever. I am a firm believer in a label maker. That's what I've used with all of these. I'll type the number, the DMC code, and then I'll cut out the symbol from the paper and I'll stick it right on there, right underneath, and then I'll stick it to the jar. So I'm an avid believer in this. I also have it's the black writing with clear tape. I prefer that instead of the white. I don't know why, I just do. If you don't have a label maker and you don't want to invest in one, you can always just get some packing tape or Scotch tape. This is actually the translucent. It's not transparent, so it's a little bit frosted, which is fine, whatever. Yeah, that's just what I got. So yeah, once you label it, all your drills, you put the drills away. You're going to want to take a look at your canvas. Now, I'm going to try to move these up a bit because I need some space. So, you get your canvas out. Here's a finish, actually, I'm going to use this one for now. If it's rolled up, you're going to want to take up the paper and put it back down again. That flattens it out really nicely. But as you're working, so as you pull this paper back, the sticky glue on the canvas is going to go off of the drills a little bit over here on all edges. So all around the border, there's going to be a little bit of leftover sticky. And if you leave that there, anything like lint, hair, particles of whatever, food, dog hair, cat hair, drills, fuzz, whatever, is going to get stuck all along the border of your painting, and that cannot look so good. So the first thing I do when I have a painting is I tear up the entire like half of the cover paper, and I'll cover the border with tape. Now I just use regular Scotch tape because it's cheap, and this is sometimes too wide, and what I can do is just like tear it at the top because it's perforated, and I can just tear all the way down and it's pretty even. And then I cut the edges off because I don't want the frayed, you know, this perforation part can get a little bit like, you can pick it up and stuff, so I don't want that. So I cut the edges off, and then I just lay it right down, right against the line of the grid so that everything is good. Once I do that side and up that way, I'll lay it back down and I'll pull this side up and I'll do it. So I've already done it on this painting because I've been working on this one. So in this painting, it's a completed painting. I don't know, maybe you can even see that. Can you see the color difference here? This is where the glue is. So all that was going to get stuck with goo-goo, yucky stuff. But I covered it with tape so that it wasn't sticky anymore, and then, you know, it's good to go. So that's something you want to do. Some people say washi, something called washi tape is good, but those all come in patterns, and I just like it clear. And I don't know if they make clear washi tape. I think I tried to look it up, but I don't know. So the other thing you need, well, you don't need, but it makes your life easier. If you notice, so this painting came with one big piece of paper. but I've cut it into thirds, okay? So what you need to do that is you need some sort of ruler, and what I found works best is a mechanical pencil. So, and then scissors, obviously, for that. And I actually have a video about this. It's called How to Cut the Cover Paper. So if you want to see how to do that, go ahead and search for that video. So I don't want to make this video super, super long. So we'll go back to that, or you can look at that later on. The next thing that I use for convenience sake is I always keep an extra boat around. Number one, it helps if you have like a lot of color on a painting. Like for instance, my infamous Dobby painting, there's a lot of white. All this white you see are drills, if you can see that. So I kept one boat for white, and then I use this one for the different colors. The other thing you want to do is, if you have any stuck together drills, you can put two together to and push it down. You'll hear clicking noises, and then I just scrape the bottom, and then they should come apart. And doing that a few times helps as well. On your drill tool, you might want to put on some sort of grippy, rubbery, grippy thing, because it's just more comfortable and you can grab it easier, and it's easier on your fingers, I think, to have something squishy on there. And I've also put it on my 3 drill tip. That's the other thing. I really like the 3 drill tip a lot. It lets you lay down 3 drills at a time instead of just 1. You're also going to want some sort of container. As you're looking at your tray of all your drills, you might find some that are rejects. So like some that are too small, too big, slanted, or have like major holes in them, or are too, are clear, like too thin, and stuff like that. So any trash ones, you're going to want to have a little container nearby just to put those in, because you never know if you're going to need those. So sometimes I'm really, really picky with my drills, but I save them just in case I need to use one with a little bubble in it or whatever if I run out. But because I've done so many of these, I think I'm pretty safe to have some extra of something. If it's a dark brown, but I don't have the exact dark brown, I'll just find another dark brown that's similar. I mean, it's not a big deal to me. These were like $4 or whatever, but I got some tweezers, some stronger tweezers. These aren't the strongest. I should probably buy stronger ones that have this like little bend in them. And this tool I use for taking drills off that I like misplace. They're really good at taking the drills off, or if some fall down, I can pick them up. Or even in my bead boat, if I need to pick up the rejects and put them in my cup, that helps too. So I have those. What I use for larger paintings is a pool noodle that I cut down to size, and that's so that you can manage a large painting while you're working on it. So I have a pool noodle here, and I just cut the one side out, and I've shoved my diamond painting in to that little section, and then I just have rolled it like that. You can also clamp the ends. I haven't really noticed a difference. And then it's much more manageable, so it's not hanging off the edge of your table and falling down and sending everything flying everywhere. So that's something you can do too, is a pool noodle. If you don't want to work at the table and you want to work on your lap, I would suggest a lap desk. This is my lap desk. I use it when I'm on the couch. It's wonderful. It came with this little ledge here a little holder. I don't really use this too often, and a little strap that I don't use very often either. And I've put some Velcro pieces on the edge here, and I'll show you why in a minute. The other thing you're going to want is a light pad. Yeah, a light pad. Now, you don't have to have a light pad, but it's much, much easier to see the symbols when they're lit from underneath. It's a huge difference. You can't really, it actually looks worse on camera. I've tried it before. So I'm not going to plug it in and show it to you, because you just have to take my word for it, because it doesn't look the same on camera as it does to your naked eye. So I just put this right here, or sometimes I put it like this, but I'm left-handed and this is the power button. And if I have it here, then I'm probably going to bump it. So it's usually like up like this or over like this. And I have a extension cord next to me when I'm sitting that I plug this into. I've also found it helpful to have something lit from above. So I got this little book light from Luminolight, and I just clip it right on the edge of my my lap desk. And what that does is it lets me see the drills from, to light them from overhead, and then I put them on the light pad to light them from below to get rid of any reject drills. That light helps a lot. Or just to see the drills as I go, to pick them up from the bead boat and put them on to see which ones I'm picking up. So I've put Velcro on here. The other thing you might want is Velcro. I put Velcro on here because I noticed that as I was working, I needed access to my tools quickly, and it was taking so long for me to reach over and grab. I know that sounds silly, but to just like throw them somewhere and switch out between my two pens and everything. So, and especially this guy, because I'd have to pick him up and take my tweezers and do the rejects and then put them down, and I was always spilling it. So this is just like a little dish that I bought from the Kroger or whatever grocery store, and I put some fuzzy Velcro on that side, and the rough is on here, and I just kind of twist it on, and that way it stays. And then even if I tilt it up like this, if I'm tilting it up, it's still not going to spill. I also put some on my tweezers, and that goes here. And then I've put some around both of my pens. Now this is the fuzzy side, because a lot of times when I'm placing beads, I'll turn this around and use this end to push them down. This side doesn't have wax, and the rough side would hurt my fingers, so I put the soft side on. And I just like hang them here. And that way, even if I tip it, completely upside down, everything's still holding on, and it's wonderful. And I don't have to worry about any of that kind of thing falling over and losing stuff and all that. I would spill the beads if I put them upside down, but whatever. This is also, I wanted something that was rechargeable. I didn't want to spend a bunch of money on batteries, so this is a rechargeable one. It has a plug to recharge it, which is wonderful too. The last thing I think you need or should have is, and I talked about this before, is some way to store all your extra drills. Now, people do it in lots of different ways. I think a really good idea is to get a binder and get those, what are they called? Baseball card. Like, they're like sheet protectors, but they're for baseball cards. And then you can put your extras in bags, label the bag, and then just slip it into that pocket. I've seen people do that, which is really cool, and a cheap way, I'm sure, to do that. But I have purchased these trays of little teeny tiny containers. By teeny tiny, I mean like here it is in my hand. Very small. You don't have a ton of extra. I do have a lot of extra black from stuff, so I've just started a bag, and it fits in there fine. And this just opens like that. And I've labeled it R equals round, so these are my extra round drills. And then it has the DMC code 3811. So then they're in numerical order from 154 all the way to 3863. And then I've had to start a new one as well. Excuse me. Some way to store your extras, because like I said, if I need extra 742s, I can go to these are for round ones, and I have another double set for squares. And I can say, okay, oh, I do have some extra 742s. Great, now my painting can be finished. And it comes with this top, and it kind of clamps on like that, which is nice. So these are a little bit more pricey, and they've sold out a lot. I think a lot of people are recommending them, and that's why they're getting sold out. But who knows? So yeah, that I think about covers it. I'm not going to go into framing your finished product because I haven't really delved deep into that whole idea yet. I'm a little bit nervous about it, and I'm not exactly sure how to go about doing all that stuff. So yeah, but anyway, so there you go. These are your tools. And noodle. And like I said, if you want links to videos as to how to do some of these things, I did how to cut the cover paper one, and I did using the multiple drill tips, the multiple drill tips. And I did like an inventory video, and I did one that talks about, how to choose the containers that you're using, and how to, go about the whole process of putting your drills into the containers. So you can just look for those, look on my channel, scroll down for some of those videos. And I think that's it. I can't think right now of anything else you could possibly need. The only other thing that you might need is like a magnifier. I actually ordered one that will clamp onto my lap desk, and it's a light mixed with a magnifier. And that's, I only want to use that when, say, like my eyes are getting really tired, or I'm doing a lot of dark colors and I can't see quite clearly. I don't get really close to my diamond painting with my eyes because I'm like usually sitting on my couch with my lap desk. So it would just be nice to be able to kind of see a little bit better. I did get these like magnifiers to put on my regular glasses, but you still have to get really close to the canvas to use them. So I'm hoping that with a standing up magnifying glass, it'll be a little bit easier to use. But yeah, I think that's about it. I mean, I think you might need a pen here and there, but I guess something to contain all the supplies in would be helpful too. Like for instance, I use a lot of baskets and containers, and I've got this big old box of undone drills, unused drills that I've got for future paintings. I don't need anything to store my canvases. I just put them under my mattress. I have a Tempur-Pedic, so it's not like a box spring underneath the mattress. It's called a foundation, and it's flat. So that's where I put that. But I imagine you could probably put it in a large box, a large shallow box. Or I saw someone made their own makeshift cardboard portfolio out of a large or a medium-sized box or whatever, and duct taped it together. So that would be an idea too. But I just put them under my mattress. It flattens them out, and it keeps them not away from dust and hair and all that stuff. So yeah, I think that's it. If I think of anything else, I'll comment about it. But I hope this answers your question for the person who requested this video. I know that getting started, it can be a little bit overwhelming to see all these videos about people and their things. Like I said, this is what I do. You don't have to do it this way. There's a lot of cheap ways to do things. I've even bought these like larger containers, and you can get these at the dollar store. If you're on a tight budget doing diamond painting, go to the dollar store nearest you. I know that the Dollar Tree, the store called the Dollar Tree, has everything that's actually $1. A lot of dollar stores will say everything's $1, but they're actually not $1. But the Dollar Tree has, you know, all their products are $1 or $1.06 or whatever. So if you're on a budget, check the dollar store for your containers, tape, whatever, ruler, whatever things you might need. Check your dollar store. Like I said, I got these pool noodles from the dollar store. So yeah, that's a really good start. And if you don't know where else to store, you know, your extra drills, bags work just fine. And you can order these off. I got these off Amazon. I got my storage containers, my label maker. I even got my Scotch tape, my baggies, and my large trays, all from Amazon.com. So if you're in the States, Amazon is a great resource. I also got these large ones from consumercrafts.com because Amazon sold out. And so now they're only offered from third-party sellers for like $50 a piece, and they're only supposed to be like $19, which is a total ripoff. But you know, people need money, so including me. So anyway, I think that's about it. I hope this helps. Thanks for watching.